Hello everyone and welcome to another Top 5 Records video and another one which I'm taking a closer look at the book 1001 Albums You Must Hear Before You Die, and I asked the question, does this album actually belong in the book? And today I'm going to be talking about Iggy Pop, Lust for Life, which is in 1001 Albums You Must Hear Before You Die, and should this be in the book? Now this album has a very interesting background. Because Iggy Pop released in 1977 two albums. This one, Lust for Life, and The Idiot. And The Idiot was an album which he did in Berlin together with David Bowie. And mostly The Idiot is a David Bowie album. Bowie really took control in the studio. He wrote most of the songs, he did most of the arrangements, and he was really putting himself in front. The two were friends. They were living together in the same apartment in Berlin. And after that album got released, I believe Iggy Pop was happy with the album because The Idiot is a great, great album. I should do a top 5 video on Iggy Pop. I'm gonna do that. But The Idiot is a great album. But after that, they went touring, and Bowie decided to be in the band to play the keys during that tour. And Bowie was very humble. He didn't address the audience, he didn't make a speech, he was just sitting there behind the keyboard and be as silent as possible. So that's kind of nice from him. But Iggy Pop noticed during the tour of The Idiot that all the questions were about David Bowie. So when they stopped touring, the band with which they were touring, Bowie and Iggy Pop were all in for another album. But Iggy Pop noticed, there's so much focus going on David Bowie. Well, it's an Iggy Pop album. I should push myself more to the front. And that's what Lust for Life is. I'm not saying this album is the struggle between Bowie and Iggy Pop to gain control, but it is one of those albums which is, collaboration-wise, incredible. There are riffs and arrangements from Bowie here. There are also arrangements from Iggy Pop here. So this is a wonderful collaboration and somewhat Iggy Pop's attempt to be more, to be freer, to be more on himself. He also left the apartment. He did rent another apartment in the same building. So he did not want to separate from his best friend, but he wanted his own space. And you can hear it here, where The Idiot is somewhat a art rock album. Here he is grasping his rock and roll roots back. And that results in quite the record. I was lucky enough to, a couple of months ago, I was in Delft. And I've been looking for a good pressing of this album for quite some time. The Dutch pressing is just thin, doesn't do anything. And I found a first UK RCA orange label pressing for $20 in near mint condition, which is just unbelievable because you never find one of those here in the Netherlands. And I've played this a couple of times, this pressing. I've been listening to the album a lot digitally before, and especially on this pressing, it's just amazing. Really, it's just amazing. It opens with Lust for Life, with the full sound of the drums, and then the way the guitar gets in, and Iggy Pop is wild but concentrated wild, which makes him so dangerous. Lust for Life, obviously, it is his anthem, but hearing it in this quality is just superb. Then you go to Sweet 16, but the first lyric is Sweet 16 and leather boots, and bam! Some authentic element of Iggy Pop is gaining control of this album. Lust for Life the music was written by Bowie. 16 is lyrics and music by Iggy Pop. And that balance is just brilliant over here. The balance between Bowie and Iggy Pop. Some weird sin, it's a good song. And then the fourth song, another all-time classic, The Passenger. Ba-da-dum, 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 ba-da-dum. 2 or 3 years ago, I saw him in Utrecht, in the Tivoli Vredenburg, do a show. And I thought, I'm gonna go there, and I expect to see an aging man who is supposedly still very good. I had seats. I had seats. I had seats. I was supposed to sit down with a friend of mine. We sat down. Once he got up, he looked at it. What's I believe to be everyone in the audience. Like it's personal. And he grabs you. And then 2 hours long, I'm just standing on my seat, feet on the balcony, It's just jumping. It's so insane. It's nothing like you're looking at the 70-something guy. It's as if he draws you back into the 70s with full-on energy. And he gives you everything. And it's just so amazing. It's one of the best shows I ever saw. And the way he played Lust for Life and The Passenger, those songs are a part of that experience. It just took me back there. And then at the end of side 1, Tonight. And I love the Tina Turner and David Bowie version, but this one is more rough, more melancholy, and there is you sense a desire for a better life. I noticed the drug use here. Or perhaps I'm just laying it in there, but it has so much depth in the version of Iggy Pop. And then side B, kicking off with Success, with the beautiful second voice. How do you say? Second voice. I love the question and answer game between the backing vocals. Oh man, and then Turn Blue. Turn Blue is such an amazing song. As a matter of fact, I made a documentary about Herman Brood, and that got selected for the ITVA, and I was in the same competition as a documentary filmmaker who just did a documentary with Iggy Pop. I forgot the title of it, but it's after a book. It's a documentary, a philosophical documentary, and Iggy Pop does the narration, but you also see him. It is like a documentary quest with Iggy Pop. Very poetic, beautiful film. And we were speaking to each other because he would have loved to work with Herman Brood, and I would have loved to work with Iggy Pop, obviously. So, and he told me this anecdote that he was in the studio to do narration, and he said to Iggy Pop, we were talking about Turn Blue. I said, it's one of the best songs from the 70s. And he said, you know Turn Blue? I said, yeah, I know Turn Blue. He said, I was working with Iggy Pop, he told me, and they were in the studio, and he said, Iggy, could you do that line and make it sound like Turn Blue? And Iggy Pop looked at him. What? You mean my Turn Blue? He just did not expect anyone to know that song. I mean, while that is one of the best songs of the 70s. It's amazing. I mean, the album could have ended there, but Neighborhood Threat and Fall in Love with Me is also great. But Turn Blue, an epic, which it's not a blues, or is it? Chord-wise, it's not. It's epic. I mean, the blues is usually not epic. What is it? Turn Blue is a unique masterpiece, and so is the entirety of this album. I really, really love it. Should it be in the book? Oh yeah, hell yeah. Obvious answer, hell yeah. So, well, that was my review for Lust for Life. What do you think? Do you agree? Do you disagree? Leave a comment below, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye.